welcome to our next step in this period of counting the Omer, as once again, we're continuing our journey from Pesach and the liberation that that brought, traveling 49 steps to the celebration of Revelation at Shavuot. So once again, as we ready ourselves for the count, let's just take some breaths. Be present. Ground ourselves in this moment. And so we bless. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sifrat haomer. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign spirit of the universe, who brings us holiness with the mitzvot and connects to us with the counting of the Omer. Hayom Shlosha Yamim Ba'omer. Today is 3 days of the Omer. Tiferet Shebechesed, a day of compassion in a week of loving kindness. So, last night I invited you to look at the flow of the different intentions, the sphera, each sphera, and see maybe how they transition from one to the next. And look and see what that may mean. And that's one way I'm able to familiarize myself with the sphirot at the beginning of the Omer period, because I don't always remember what order they go in. It's nice to kind of come to it fresh. So it's one way I can reconnect with all of them and see what it brings in this year. So what did it bring this year for me? Well, chesed for me is an emotion, loving kindness. It's just an outpouring of the heart. And I will just note that these associations for the body to the sphirot that I give are mine. And I say that because there are very specific parts of the spheras that go with parts of the body in the Kabbalistic convention. And that's not what I'm doing here. To hear this is just, I look at them and then what does it mean to me? I mean, chesed to me is almost the most pure, as much as I'm not crazy about that word, but it's pure intention. There's no thought. There's no, it just is. You feel, it's a feeling. It's an emotion. It's that outpouring from the heart. And we had a double day. We start this journey from this just pure place of, yo, we're just outpouring, ready to go. It's almost like a high from getting out. And then we move to Gevurah. We put that in the container of chesed, of loving kindness. And that brings some structure to the emotion, right? Because it's strength. It's got a hardness to it, a form to it, where chesed seems to be, this outpouring is kind of more ethereal, maybe more vapory. And Gevurah has a strength, has a more solid form. But remember, in this week, it's not the form that is holding it. It's the emotion, but the form is layered in. So remember that in this time, it's going from the heart to the head, not the other way. And how does that feel? That it comes, the structure comes from the emotion. The vapor still has a form. It still makes a container. And the Gavor there to help strengthen it, whatever that brings. And today is a day of Tiferet, a day of compassion. And compassion to me in this Sphira, in this day, is almost a merger of the two that came before. Because compassion definitely has an emotional, a feeling component to it. It definitely has that, it circulates through. But there's a focus. There's a seeing. There's a direction. It's not just the outpouring, maybe with a purpose. And that's the layer we add today. Now, I have one more note for today. In this year and in this time, it's hard not to see everything through the lens of what we're going through. Wherever you're sitting, in whatever town, in our country, in whatever countries all over the world. It's hard not to see everything through that lens. And if that's helpful for you, and that was this journey is about, kol hakavod, all honor to you, I think that's great that that can happen and that you can use that. For me, I'm of mixed mind. I'm not going to be mentioning every day. I will not ignore it. And if it feels that day that what's happening in the world and what's happening in the count works, I will deal with it and talk about it. And that's part of the journey for me. However, feel free as well to just use this as a time of sanctuary, a time of getting away from it, a time of clearing yourself, just being present. Again, remember, the mitzvah is just an accounting, a passage, a process. And if you need that process to just separate and be present, and that is what gives you that strength, that's what this is about as well. And so, in this week of Chesed, of loving kindness, take in this day of compassion. Take it inward. Have compassion for yourself. Erev Tov, and I'll see you tomorrow.